Hello everyone. So I've been developing my text editor Tedit for some time now, and I've got a lot of the basic functionality already implemented. So you can see right here that we have line number display. We can also write text and even change modes. So from insert mode to normal mode. And now the keys do different things. And yeah, what I wanted to develop today is a system that allows me to connect the text editor with some kind of source output, for example, a file, such that when we write code or text, we can save it to that source file. So yeah, let's just start developing this. So the first thing we'll need some kind of system that, well, connects the text buffer, so this basic 2D array of characters, to some kind of source. So let's create an abstract source class. And the reason why it will be abstract is because we can have multiple kinds of sources. For example, imagine that we don't want to write to a file, but rather to some kind of network stream with the text editor. By making this class abstract, we allow to like implement things like that in the future. So we'll create a virtual method called write, which takes in a string view, and that's the data to write. And we'll also have a method called read, and this will return a string. And let's now make these functions pure virtual ones. And now we can go ahead and declare our FileBufferSource .h, and now in there let's first inherit from this text buffer source class, and let's also include it like so. And now we can go ahead and implement these abstract methods by overriding them, and let's do the same in here like so. And now what we'll do is, well, we'll get to implement them. But first we need our file buffer source to take in the file it should write to. So let's receive a file system path, which is the path we'll write to, and then in here let's also store it like so. Let's call it mfile like so, and when it's passed into the constructor, we just initialize it through the initializer list. So when writing, we'll create an output file stream called file, and the first parameter will be the file. And we'll also want to truncate it so that we basically replace the entire file. And we'll also want the flag binary for, well, this is for like conversion of certain characters, that they actually are interpreted byte by byte, because sometimes, I don't know, the character \n is converted to \r\n in Windows, for example, and that's why you need this flag, that it like actually reads the bytes. So this can fail to open if we pass in a wrong file. In cases like these, we can throw a set runtime error saying something like writing to non-existent file, or failed to open file, like so. Otherwise, we'll just call file write of the data and the data.size. And that's it for writing. Now for reading, we'll do something similar. We'll take the input file stream of the current file. We won't need that truncation because we aren't writing. Once again, that can fail, so let's check that it didn't by doing this. And in here, what we'll do is, well, we'll return a string. And this string is, well, the beginning of that string is from the iStream character buffer or something like that. iStream buff iterator, yeah, exactly. And in there you can pass in the file, and that has to be of type char, so for character, and then we also need an end, and that's just that. Now I believe it needs this file, not the m file, like so, and yeah, now it works. Okay, we've got reading done, writing done, initializing of the FileBufferSource. So now we can extract the definitions. This is a little neovim command I programmed in my config. I might release it soon. So yeah. Now we've got the CPP file with all of the definitions. Perfect. So what we'll do next is, well, we need to connect this to the text buffer. So let's do the following. We'll have a reference to the kind of buffer source that this text buffer writes to. So let's call that text buffer source, so the abstract class, and that's also why we need a pointer to that, because we need dynamic dispatch. And in here we'll take in a unique pointer to this text buffer source as soon as we're initializing it, called source, like so. And in our text buffer source we'll just say mSource is initialized to this, so whatever we pass in here. So let's copy the argument list and put that in here. And now we also have to move that into there, because right now ownership lies within the constructor. Perfect. So well, now we've got the source done. We'll probably have an error in the editor, because the editor owns the text buffer, right? So we do have to specify some kind of source. So let's create a FileBufferSource, and in there we'll provide the path for well, for what? That's the question. We'll use assets file.txt. So we'll just do that, like so, file.txt. So we'll say assets file.txt, and that's the file we'll be writing to. So right now, well, we've got the editor in place, and editor CPP also works. So now we shouldn't have any error. So we've got this basic setup already done. Now the thing we'll need is to actually load in that file and read its contents, and also be able to write to it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll firstly want to load the file in. So what we'll do is, well, we'll want to set the text to the source read. This read returns a just a basic string, and the set text transforms it such that well, it adjusts to this 2D vector type of a format. So we'll just set the text in here, and we'll need this if mLines empty if check, because if the file is empty, well, then nothing is basically put in, because well, because the accumulator will be empty, and then you won't have any lines, but you always need a starting line in a file, right? Because there's no file with 0 lines. That's why we'll always have to place back one string if, well, if the mLines are empty. So with that in place, if I'm not mistaken, if we compile this and run it, we get a segmentation fault. Okay, so we can check why that is. And yeah, I've taken a look at the code, and if we take a sharp look at well, where is it? The text buffer. I don't know if you can spot it, but well, we're moving the source right here into mSource, so it gets hollowed out, and then we're using it to read. That's kind of stupid, because obviously we've got a segmentation fault. So if we run this now, yeah, you can see right here that we are actually loading the file. So if we take a look at the file, we see right here that we have some content, and if we run our text editor, well, the content gets displayed. So we can even adjust, say, my name is cool, and just leave an empty line in here. And now, once again, you can see right here that it matches that perfectly. Okay, nice. So the next thing we'll need to implement is writing to the file. So to do that, well, what do we want to do for that? Let's take a look at the editor. So basically the way I structure certain types of commands, I have a command, like an abstract command class, and then different types of commands that inherit from that. So we'll need some kind of save command. Save command.cpp. So let's say save buffer command. Let's call it like so. Let's also create the header file. And let's just copy all of that over. Paste that, replace new line with save buffer. And let's quickly define what we'll do in here. For that we have to include the editor class, and in here we'll just call e dot, and we haven't implemented that yet. So in the buffer, or in the editor rather, we'll need some kind of method called save to buffer, like so. And save to buffer will just save the current content to the current buffer. So let's call save to buffer, like so. Now let's extract this function definition, like so. Now it lives in here. And now we can actually get to work on the save to buffer method, like so. Okay, so the save to buffer method, what this guy will do is, well, it will take the buffer, and yeah, that's the thing, we have to propagate that back to the buffer. So let's just have a method called save, like so. We'll just call buffer.save. And once again, let's extract this function definition. And now we gotta go to the text buffer and put all of the code in here. So, yeah, let's go in here and implement the save method. So what we'll do in here is we'll need to have a string to save, and we need to transform the lines to the actual format. So because right now it's still in this 2D array format, right? So we'll have to adjust that. So what we'll do in here is we'll go over each line, like so, in our lines, and we'll append the line plus the new line character to our output, and then we'll go to our source and write the output. And now extract this definition and run this. You might be wondering why we've got this weird stuff. Well, it's because I've run the text editor and its segmentation fault, and then couldn't properly clean itself up, and the ncurses settings still remain for the terminal, so that's why it looked so weird. But yeah, well, we've got the save command done, but we're not calling it anywhere, so we also gotta set up that. So we've got the save buffer command, and now in normal mode, let's say if we press S, like so, we want to save current buffer, so save buffer command. Now let's build this and run it once again, like so. Sala is cool and you should subscribe. Let's do that and save it. And now nothing seemed to fail, and you can see right here that we were properly able to save that to the file. You can see right here that the changes are displayed in here as well. So yeah, this looks pretty cool already. So that's basically it for what I wanted to do in this video. I'll probably be doing more of these development videos of my text editor in the future. I've got a remote repo set up, but it's private for now. I'll probably make it open source and public once it gets to a stage where I'm fine with sharing it. So yeah, if you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.